Lesson 8.7 is about solving a system of equations. Okay? A system of equations is the term that's used for more than one equation. Okay? In other words, we're going to find two numbers that make both equations true. Those two numbers are the x and y values in a point. Okay? You know that there are tons of numbers, infinite number of numbers, that make x plus y equals 4 true. Right? There are an infinite number of numbers that you can put in here. But there is not an infinite number of numbers to make two or more equations true. Okay? So when you substitute the numbers in for x and y, you can check and see if this point, -1, 5, is a solution to both equations. Okay? So this is the x value, this is the y value. And so when you put it in, -1 plus 5 equals 4. Is that true? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that one's true. How about this one? -1 minus 5. Does that equal 6?
No.
No. That one's false. So this is not a solution. Okay? It's not a solution because doesn't make both of them true. Okay? So you're putting in the point, putting in the numbers, and checking both equations to see if they're true. Now that's if you're given that point, you can do that. What we're going to do today is we're going to find that point by graphing. Okay? So, take a look at your worksheet. And then go to your other notes on solving a system or system of equations by graphing, okay? It says what you have to do is solve each equation by graphing and then check your solution. So we're going to have to graph both equations. Look at this example. We have this equation. Y equals 2x minus 5. What's the b? What is the y-intercept in that equation? Since it's already solved for y, we can graph it using the slope and the y-intercept. Start with the y-intercept. Garrett?
-5.
-5. So we find -5 on the graph, and that's this point right here. Okay? So that means this must be the line that goes with this equation. We'll just label that A. Okay? The first equation. So, what is the slope of A? Asa?
-5.
No, that's the y-intercept. That's the point where it crosses the y-axis. That's the point you have to mark first. And then from there, how do you find the next point? You have to go back to the equation and look at this number. 2. What does that tell you to do? Up 2 from here. 1, 2. Then over 1. Yep. So mark that spot on your example. It already is. Then you can go up 2 and over 1 to find another point on the line. and up to and over 1 to find another point. And you can find all of the points on that line. Okay? Then, equation B. How do you graph this one? X minus y equals 4. How would you graph that one? Asa, that's one. Merlin.
You solve for y.
Okay, you could solve it for y. Yep. What else could you do on a simple equation like this? Could you find two numbers that are true? Could we use an x and y chart for this one? Since this is such a simple equation, could we find numbers that make this, that we could put into this equation? Sam, second. Could we find two numbers that work?
Yeah.
How about 4 and 0? That works. 4 minus 0 is 4. Might be easier than solving. Okay? And oftentimes when you have x and y on the same side, it's easier to do to use this method. Is to find two numbers. Find another set. Two numbers, subtract them, and it equals 4. How about 6 and 2? 6 minus 2 is 4. Right? How about 0 and negative 4? Does that work? That works too, doesn't it? Yep. So, we can graph these, and I'll put them and make a different color. 4, 0, that's this point. 6, 2, will be over here, that's off the graph. How about 0, negative 4? That's this point. And so you can see that this is the line for equation B. Okay? Now, these two lines intersect, don't they? Where do they intersect? Amelia, it's written there. On the graph. Yep, and what are the numbers next to that point? 1, negative 3. Yep, right here. Those are the numbers for that point. 1, negative 3. Okay? So, what this graph shows is the solution for both equations. Wherever they cross is the solution for both equations. Let's check it. So if we put in 1, negative 3 into the first equation, and here's where it shows that. Here's 1. 2 times 1 is 2. Minus 5 is negative 3. And that equals negative 3 on the other side. So that works as a point. Again, you're taking these numbers, the x and the y, and inserting them into the first equation. Y equals 2x minus 5. Just like it shows over here. Where did we get the 1 and negative 3? Where's the 1 and the negative 3 come from, Adam? From where the two lines what? Where the two lines intersect. Amelia.
That's just what I was gonna say.
Oh, okay, sorry, I call that Adam. Where the two lines intersect. Yep. So, what we have to do to solve this is we have to find where the two lines intersect. we're going to have to graph both lines and then find where they intersect. Let's do number 1 together. So, in number 1, you can graph it either by solving for y or by finding 2 points that fit that equation. Okay? Now, on this one, on this first one, we may want to solve it for y. You can use either method, but since the y is already by itself, doesn't have a coefficient that we don't have to divide, all you have to do is get rid of the negative, or sorry, get rid of the 3x. How would you get rid of 3x? Subtract 3x. So let me do that down below. 3x plus y equals -1. Add negative 3x to both sides. So y equals negative 3x plus negative 1. Does everybody see that? Okay, write that down. Write that down. And then graph it. So what's the y-intercept? Ava?
1.
No. -1. So we mark that point. And then what is the slope, Emily? -3, so we go down 3 and over which direction?
The other way.
What did you say? Nope. Down 3 and right 1. Because otherwise, if you go down and left, it's going to be positive. That's 2 negative moves. Okay? You need to do 1 negative and 1 positive move. So, we can go down 3 and right 1, or we can go up 3 and left 1. Now, what we'll want to do when you're graphing this is graph as many points as you can. So follow that slope and graph as many points as you can. Mark all the points that would be on that line, where they would cross. And then draw a straight line. Make sure that you draw as straight a line as possible because you have to find where these points intersect. Or sorry, where the lines intersect. Okay? Now let's graph the second equation. And since this one is x minus y equals -3, we may want to just find 2 points that work. Like 0 and 3. 0 minus 3 is -3, right? So on the second one, for x and y, we can use 0 and -3 to graph it. Or sorry, 0 and +3. And we can use 1 and 4. Right? So 0 and 3. I'll use a different color here. 1 and 4. And when you draw that line, or you should be able to see a pattern right away of where that line goes.
It's -3.
Right?
Sure. Explain that. But it's -3.
No, you have to subtract y. So we have to subtract 3. Okay? Look at this equation. X minus y equals -3. Ava?
Yeah.
So 0 minus 3 equals -3. We have to subtract the positive to get -3. we have to put in 1 and 4. Because the negative, this minus is already in the equation. And if we insert a negative number, then we're going to have 2 minuses in a row. That makes it positive. Does that make sense? Do you see that? Okay.
Where did the 0 and the 3 come from?
Where do they come from? We chose them, 0 and 3, because it makes the equation true. Remember, there's 2 ways. You don't have to. That's one method, is to solve it.
Then it's false if you solve it.
No, it's not. So, one way to graph a line is to choose values, choose an x value, and find the y value. Okay? Or choose a y value and find the other value. Then the solution is where these lines would cross. So this is where the second line goes, and this is the point of intersection. -1, 2. No. Because these equations will only give you this line. And this equation will only give you this line. That's the only possible answer for those equations. And so they're only going to cross at one point. Okay? Asa. Sam, that's your third. Amelia.
I don't really get this.
All right. Let's back up then and review first of all how to graph. Okay? Do you remember how to graph a slope-intercept equation? In other words,
Yeah.
find the b
I know
and
that.
find
I
the
just
slope.
don't get like
The choosing the different numbers. Okay. Yeah, we did that longer ago. That was a long time ago that we did that. But what you do is choose an x value and then find the y value that works. So if we choose 1 and put it into this second equation, so let me put that down here. 1 minus y equals -3. Okay? What would y have to be in order to make this work? So 1 minus y would have to be, or remember, we always put a plus sign in front of the minus sign. So 1 plus negative something. And that number has to be 4. Because 1 plus -4 is -3.
Oh,
So you're finding 2 numbers that make the equation true. That are a solution, that work, that make -3. Okay? And you just graph those 2 lines. So yes, you use those 2 numbers as one point, and you can find another set of numbers that work. So you can use 0, and if x is 0, then yes, you can use either method. When to use one and when to use the other? Well, I like to look at it and, like in number 2, the first one is already solved for y, isn't it? So then we know the 5 is the b, and the 4 is the m. Okay? Okay? So then, let's graph that one first. The b is 5, and the m is 4. Now, that's off the graph that we have, isn't it? If we go up 4. So could we go down and left and still be on the line? Yeah. Go down 4 and over 1. Down 4 and over 1. And that's on the same line. Adam?
So, this is for number 1, but so no matter what you do for x and y, always stay crossing.
It's not always going to cross at the same point. Nope.
Well, what if there's
If these two equations will always have the same solution. This is the one solution for these two equations. That's the one set of points that work for both. Okay? So, the second equation is a little harder to graph. There's the first line. Then in the second equation, I'm going to rewrite it over here, down here. I mean. So, x minus 2y equals 4. Okay? Now, it would be kind of hard to find 2 points that work for both equations. So, if you can't, the only ones that work really well for finding two numbers that work are when it's just x plus y or x minus y, and you can just easily see two numbers. You don't have to multiply anything, you don't have to divide anything. So if you just have x plus y as a number, or x minus y as a number, then those are really easy to find two numbers, 2 points that work. But otherwise, solve it for y. Okay? So you know you got to get the y by itself. So add negative x to both sides. Then negative 2y equals negative x plus 4. Okay. So follow along. You copying this? Good. Then we have to get rid of the negative 2. So divide everything by negative 2. And so y equals, now we have negative over a negative. What is that? Positive 1/2 x plus. And then what's 4 divided by negative 2? What's 4 divided by negative 2? Negative 2, yep. And so we have b again, and we have m. What is b? Just wait. What is b? Go to b, negative 2. Mark that on the graph. That's right here. Then go up 1 over 2, right? Up 1 over 2. Or we could go down 1 and left 1. Left 2, I mean. And that's on the same line. That shows where they cross. Down and left is the same as up and right. Okay? Yep. Did you get the same equation? Did you get the same answer when you solved it for y?
That's a divide everything by. I'm still
By
undetermined.
negative.
What did I draw?
Well, look at mine, AJ, and then look at yours. Solve for x.
No, so it's y. So the answer is.
So what is the solution? What are the coordinates of that point? Maddie? What are the coordinates of that point?
-2, -3.
Yep. -2, -3. Now, how do you check your solution? You have to put the point into both equations. Remember, we have to check and see if it makes both true. So, up here, put it into the first one. So -3, quiet please, equals 4 times -2 plus 5. Is that true? So -8 plus 5. Does that equal -3? Yep, that's true. Then check the second one. X minus 2y equals 4. Put in -3 and -2. So -2 minus 2 times -3 equals 4. -2 times, or sorry, plus 6. Okay. So that's true. Okay? And if it makes both of them true, you know you have the solution. So you're applying the things that you've learned and that you've quizzed on. Solving for y, graphing the y-intercept, graphing the slope and following the slope to mark multiple points, because that makes it easier to see where they cross. Okay? So, turn the paper over and do the back side.